how many crimes has everyone that he knows and has employed committed? So, as Thursday Night Football quickly approaches, I think tonight's game is between the New York Jets, featuring Mr. Magic Mushroom himself, a.k.a. I lied about being immunized, and turned out to be an NFL walking, talking super spreader event, a.k.a. I wanted to be the vice president to the guy with brain worms, a.k.a. Aaron frickin' Rodgers. The New York Jets versus the New England Patriots. Now, in honor of the sports news, I thought it pertinent to go to a pretty prominent sportscaster. The thing is, he works for Fox Sports. So when he said what I'm about to show you, I'm sure that eyebrows were raised, jaws were dropped to the floor by his co-host and the news compadres that compile Fox News and the Fox broadcasting conglomerate. But Fox Sports, we're going to take a look at Colin Cowherd. And reason why, it's important. Don't turn away. It's important because in the past few weeks, and even as late as yesterday, Donald Trump and J.D. Vance continue to tell us about the migrant crime. He's calling it something new, migrant crime. He made up the word, just like he made up the word caravan. Anyway, not important. Most importantly, crime is on the rise because all of these immigrants are coming across the border. And I just thought that if I said it, you may not believe it. But the context in which this guy's talking about who's committing crime and who's not has to be seen from the lens of how many crimes has everyone that he knows and has employed committed? So I'm going to let Colin Cowherd tell you from Fox Sports, again, mind you, that's important. And on the other side, we're going to talk about this migrant crime issue that we have in America.
You know, I've said this about Trump before. He's trying to sell me an America that doesn't exist. Let's say I got busted for some really bad crime in court, a drug crime. And my wife did too, in a separate case. And then so did one of my kids, my manager, my agent, and my attorney. It would be reasonable to conclude that I'm shady and involved in a business that's not terribly legal. Well, Donald Trump is now a felon. His campaign chairman was a felon. So is his deputy campaign manager, his personal lawyer, his chief strategist, his national security advisor, his trade advisor, his foreign policy advisor, his campaign fixer, and his company CFO. They're all felons, judged by the company you keep.
And there you have it. Isn't it rich that the person who cares most about the migrants coming over and committing crime is the person who hires nobody but criminals in his entire team? Every single one of them is a felon. And at a time when someone coming out of prison who's paid their debt to society, the worst thing they can see on a job application is, have you ever been arrested? Have you ever committed a crime? Have you ever been to prison? And you have to sweat and answer that question. Am I going to be truthful? Am I going to check that box? Well, I have a solution. Run with Donald Trump. Apply, because if you're a criminal, if you've been a felon, then you too have a better chance of becoming an official for the United States than you do a secretary at a law firm. You have a better job being an official under the auspices of United States President Donald J. Trump than you do becoming a McDonald's hamburger flipper, and proudly so. How many more times are you going to fall for this? You want to know that there's a lot of proof, that there's a bunch of numbers, that all of the statistics tell you that immigrants create and commit less crime than the people who were born here and lived here beforehand? I can give them to you, but there's no better proof than what you just heard. It's always the one who's engulfing himself in felony and debauchery, and all the people who like him and support him and give him the money and the ideas. Like, for instance, immigrants are eating dogs. Where did he get that from? Well, it was one of his absolutely disgusting, backwards people that he chose to put on his team. And they knew it was a lie. Check this.
This whole thing about the cats and the migrants in Springfield, Ohio, the whole raison d'etre of J.V. Vance's stochastic terrorist attack on the residents of his own state, this has now been revealed to originate from two lies. The first lie was from the woman who posted to Facebook about somebody's friends, neighbors, aunts, uncles, condom salesmen seeing somebody eat a cat. The woman's name was Erica Lee. She has at least expressed remorse. Vance's campaign knew this was not true. It had called the Springfield City Hall on the 9th of this month and was told by people there that it was not true, and that did not stop them. It didn't even slow them down. The second lie, revealed yesterday, turns out to have been by the woman in Springfield who told the police her cat, Miss Sassy, had been taken and killed, maybe. The Wall Street Journal did something that Trump and Vance and their fellow scumbags would never do. They fact-checked Vance's story and Kilgore's story and Miss Sassy's story. I quote, a Vance spokesperson on Tuesday provided the Wall Street Journal with a police report in which a resident had claimed her pet might have been taken by Haitian neighbors. But when a reporter went to Anna Kilgore's house Tuesday evening, she said her cat, Miss Sassy, which went missing in late August, had actually returned a few days later, found safe in her own basement.
There you have it. But lying for criminals is not a new thing or a big thing. It's second nature. It's what they do. So next time he tells you about immigrant crime, the next time he tells you about who's coming over the border, I ask you, who's in your motorcade? You could start with them. And then you can start with the Mr. Eyeliner himself and his lies, because who he used to be is not who he is now. I don't know how many times he's changed his name, but let's just call him the JV Spot himself. Don't tell me about the immigrant crime until you fix the felons in your camp. How many more do you need to have? Please, guys, this is beyond ridiculous. Support the channel. Press subscribe, press that like button, and we also have merch if you choose to like it. But more than anything, share this. Let other people know. People who are scared about the crime but want to vote for the convicted felon who only hires convicted felons because only felons, convicted felons, seems to think that he's their guy. Of course he is. He's a convicted felon. Share it. Let them know. I'll see you on the next one.